DeRoberta's here with Angie Martz in St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. In many regions of Canada, with one sister in Peru, we Sisters of Charity of the Immaculate Conception and Associates advocate for climate justice and energy alternatives. We write letters and send emails to legislators at various levels of government. We participate in peaceful protests and rallies. We inform ourselves and respond with our Federation NGO representative and network, and through the Canadian Religious Conference and various Canadian groups and organizations. In recent years, we've been working with our investment advisors to reduce our involvement in fossil fuels, and we express solidarity with our Indigenous sisters and brothers who are often most adversely affected by climate change. Now, Angie, you've helped us advocate for decades. Today, you're wearing an interesting t-shirt. What is the message?
It says no to shale gas. And the reason for that is that the method of extracting the gas poses a major threat to our fresh water, a human right and essential for all life.
And we've also, for similar reasons, been resisting various pipelines in Canada proposed to bring tar sands crude oil from Western Canada in different directions. Here, the proposed Energy East pipeline would bring crude oil right to St. John, home of Canada's largest oil refinery. Angie, what are our concerns?
The advocates of the pipeline say that there will be many jobs created. I believe that there will be more jobs lost than created. The crude oil is not for St. John. It is to go on tankers to international markets. These tankers in the Bay of Fundy will destroy our fisheries, leaving many people without a livelihood.
And that Bay of Fundy is between New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, touching on the state of Maine. And Angie, you've helped us explore the LEAP Manifesto, released earlier this year in Canada. Please tell us about the LEAP Manifesto.
The LEAP Manifesto is a call to our governments to create an economy of caring for one another and for the planet. It stresses respect for the inherent rights of the Indigenous people and the importance of a transition from oil-based energy to clean, renewable energy, which in turn would create more jobs. And this is shown on this chart. Quite striking.
And that is certainly a vision we share, and as you've stressed, with our Indigenous sisters and brothers.
Certainly they are our best allies.
Trinitas Hernandez, a daughter of Charity, been working here in East Palo Alto since 1997. The center was founded in 1998 when a woman asked me to teach her English. And we were aware that there was a great need for English in this area and for housing, which we could not do at the time. So we rented an apartment here, and we teach now 5 classes of English, ESL, and we're trying to break the cycle of poverty through education. We realize that some of our women will not be able to go to college because some of them are older, but I encourage them anyway, and some have gone on to Cañada College. We have one young lady who went to Cañada Junior College, graduated, is now going to go this year to San Jose State. Also, the women have been very good at encouraging their children to go to college, and you will hear that how they are able to afford that, because of scholarships primarily. Also, housing is an issue, and so in 2010 or 11, the community, with the help of many groups, the Junior League, the Daughter Charity Foundation, we were able to buy this complex. Here we have 37 families. We also have our little classroom, and we have a playroom because the children, while their mothers are in class, have a supervised play group so that we begin teaching them kindergarten readiness. We also have an after-school program which again, a mother asked me to teach her children English and help them with homework. So we got another group of volunteers, and so they come twice a week and help the children with their homework, and it's been a very successful program also. Because of many friends, we've also been able to help, and we had a wonderful donor from the Philanthropic Ventures Foundation who have helped us, and we have 3 of our graduates who work in the school as interpreters. They work in 2 schools, a high school and one of our elementary schools, because there are so many Spanish-speaking here in East Palo Alto. They're the liaisons between the English-speaking teachers and the Spanish-speaking parents, and that has been a very successful. Now reaching out and working with Stanford students. They are teaching 2 classes this year, one on health and one on writing, and that seems to be very successful. And also we started 2 years ago family outings, so we can take the whole family, because our main idea is to break the cycle of poverty and to mentor the family, not just working with those wanting to learn English, but the whole family. So we have gone to now the zoos and places that it seems simple, but they don't go because they're expensive. And we've gone to many different outings, educational outings with the family, and these have been very successful. And this year, more so than last year, many of the fathers are joining, and that to me is very, very important, the whole family coming together.
Hello, I'm Sister Deborah Humphreys and a member of the leadership team of the Sisters of Charity of St. Elizabeth. Our foundress, Mother Xavier, was an Irish immigrant herself, arriving in New York in 1846, just before the Great Famine. We honored her commitment to immigrants when we took a public stand on comprehensive immigration reform. By joining with the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, we call for providing undocumented immigrants already in the United States with a path to residency and citizenship, as well as expediting family reunification by increasing the number of family-based visas. While our current congressional paralysis prevents the immigration reform for which we have been advocating, Las Samaritanas Ministry contributes to systemic change in other ways, enabling women to support one another as they negotiate the systems of American culture that are very different from their homelands.
Hello, I'm Father Terence Moran, the Director of the Office of Peace, Justice, and Ecological Integrity of the Sisters of Charity of St. Elizabeth. One of the ministry outreaches of my office is Las Samaritanas Ministry to Hispanic immigrant women. Las Samaritanas means the Samaritan women, like the woman in the Gospel of John, who discovered a sense of mission through her encounter with Jesus. Las Samaritanas has a steering committee of 7 women, one of whom, Miriam Rodriguez, you'll be hearing from in a moment. Together we sponsor bi-monthly retreat days that have been attended by hundreds of Hispanic women. Recent ones have had the theme, The Visitation, the Power of Women's Relationships, and Jesus, the Face of Mercy to Women, which among other things looked at the contemporary tragedy of human trafficking. In addition, we run 3 monthly support groups for women called Agua Viva, Living Water, in which small groups of 8 to 15 women gather together for 2 hours a month to share the joys and the tensions of their lives.
Hello, my name is Miriam Rodriguez, and I'm being part of the Samaritanas group for more than 18 years. We've been working with women all this year to empower themselves to be a better mother, a better wife, a better friend. We work with the self-esteem so the woman can be prepared to be herself in our society. Right now, we're very exciting because we're working with a project in Dominican Republic and the prison women, and the jail women. We visit them and we talk to them and we talk about different aspects of life so they can be a better human being when they get off.
Hello, Sisters of Charity!
Hi, my name is Sister Mary Ellen Lacey, and I'm a daughter of charity. I work in East St. Louis, Illinois, and I work at the Land of Lincoln Legal Assistance Foundation, where I primarily work with public housing clients. I represent clients who will be evicted or clients who live in conditions that are deplorable, and I work with them to change the system that allow for them to live in this undignified manner. I'd like to share with you today an example of systemic change that I recently participated in. What happened is a client came to me, and he's the president of the council of a large tenement. What he does is he listens to their complaints and he tries to address them from within the building. And he called me up and he said he's having a lot of problems because he's not being listened to. The system's not working for him. So what we did is we listened to his complaints, and his complaints were many and they were varied. I mean, the most profound one is that the front door didn't lock. This is a house in East St. Louis, or it's a building in East St. Louis. The front door doesn't lock. People were coming and going at all hours of the night. They had a murder in the building, which actually happened from one of its residents, but allowed for more terror and more frightfulness in the place where they lived, and their house was not a home anymore. There were buildings that was falling apart in the back. The balcony fell apart, bricks were falling. People were experiencing bed bugs over and over again. The trash chutes were being filled, and they couldn't empty their garbage, so they just left them in piles on each of the floors. These obviously, no one would argue, are the most undignified manner in which to live. This is not what the public housing is supposed to provide for our people. Public Housing Authority was developed, and the HUD, the Housing Urban Development Division, was created to house our people in safe, sanitary conditions. So he came to us, and what we decided to do is we would take all the people who had the courage to threaten to sue them, and we met with them, and we filled out affidavits, and they personally testified to all the harms that were occurring to them in this place that was developed to keep them safe, sanitary, and healthy. So we wrote up the affidavits, we had them sworn, we had them notarized in, and then we went and presented it to the higher-ups. And at that point, within 24 to 48 hours, the front door was fixed. The tuck pointer was there to fix the falling bricks. The program for the bed bugs was initiated, and the trash chutes were cleaned. In that sense, these residents who came together with the courage, we enabled them to feel empowered. They realized that maybe they didn't get it in the beginning, but because they stuck to it, they stayed as a group. And as a group, they came ahead and they said, no more. You don't get to treat us like this. The system's not working for us. We ask that you change it. And now it's beginning to be restored as their home. May not be the home anyone would choose, but at least it's safe now. And the cleanliness is up. And they know that as together, they can work. And they can go after a system that started with a good nature in its design. But somehow along the way it got corrupted, and it needed to be changed. It needed to be addressed. And they recognized that their unified effort, their decision to be brave, their decision to say no more, it changed. And I'm privileged to be part of that ministry. Thank you.
In my opinion, the only way you really break the cycle of poverty is through education. Unless we can get people educated so they can get jobs that pay a living wage, that cycle of poverty is going to go on. We have been here at 314 Delaware for a little over 2 years, and it's been very good for us, very good. But for various reasons, we're having to move now, and we didn't have any of the furniture, any of the computers, anything like that. We just had used what was here in this building. And so we have had to find all of that before we can move. And we had a total of 60 days to be moved. And we have everything we need. We sent out lists to the churches, and people call constantly telling us, okay, I've got this, do you need it? And our volunteers have stepped up unbelievably. We had a gentleman out yesterday with 3 of our guys picking furniture up all over the city to bring it to us. We had 2 other people out going to a company that's closing down, or moving, I guess, and don't need a lot of their furniture, so all of that was coming in. The University of St. Mary gave us 10 laptop computers because we didn't have any computers, and we had to have them for our folks. So we've really been able to get everything because of the generosity of individual people. In Leavenworth, if you let people know what you need, you'll get it. One of the things that we know in order to really move people out of poverty is to get them some of the skills they need. So we hope to have a lot of job skill training, you know, being on time, being there every day, dressing appropriately, those kinds of things. Plus, we'd love to do some things on helping people actually get jobs, to sometimes even go with them. If it's somebody that we really can recommend, go with them to try to get that job and to give the recommendation from Welcome Center. And we also know we need to do more with helping people get housing. Housing is a real challenge because it's very hard to get the first month's rent and the deposit at one time. And so to help with that, I think that we can do more of that. We want to do classes on nutrition. We hope to have a little kitchen where we can actually teach some actual cooking skills. Most of our people live on fast food because it's cheaper. You know, McDonald's has dollar things, so do all the other fast foods. We'd like to teach them some of the nutrition skills and show them that it's able to be done without costing a fortune.
El departamento del Quiché es rico en recursos naturales, con una diversidad cultural en donde la mayoría de la población, un 90%, es de origen maya. Pero así también en la región se ha sufrido mucho en la guerra, hubo aldeas enteras en que fueron arrasadas y en la actualidad la explotación de los recursos naturales ha generado varios conflictos, pero aún así, con todas las dificultades, la población, hombres y mujeres, siempre tienen una esperanza.
The Barbara Ford Peacebuilding Center is located in Quiché, Guatemala, a unique place in the world where pain and grief coexist and the beauty and kindness of his people.
Desde nuestra formación académica, nosotros en Guatemala, hablando generalmente y específicamente en nuestro departamento del Quiché, tenemos una educación deficiente que prácticamente no llena los aspectos con los que nosotros estaríamos preparándonos como un buen profesional para poder estar como que en un mercado laboral, ¿verdad?
Guatemala needs new social pacts that lead to new forms of coexistence and sustainable development. The lack of education beyond the 6th grade results in youth not having the skills to access meaningful employment or just living conditions. The Barbara Ford Peacebuilding Center seeks to change this. Through its educational and training opportunities, the center accompanies youth fostering in them a committed sense of leadership and responsibility, integrated with a knowledge of human development. With this preparation, our goal is for Guatemala's youth to be capable of creating sustainable economic opportunities. Mutual respect and dignity for the person, Mayan cultural identity and equality are among some of the values promoted at the center. The center is accompanying the youth in the creation of a youth cooperative. This cooperative, which is in process of creating different entrepreneurships for economic stability. In the spirit of Elizabeth Seton, we at the Center strive each day to salir al encuentro, that is, to reach out with love and compassion to hear the cries of the women and men, boys and girls, old women and men, as we strive to live the mission of the Sisters of Charity by responding to the signs of the times, revealing the love of God in our lives with and for all those in need, especially people who live in poverty.
Welcome, I'm Catherine Kirby, a Sister of Charity of Cincinnati, and we want to share with you our bold systemic initiative in ministry, DePaul Cristo Rey High School. In our general chapter in 2007, we called for a feasibility study of new educational ventures serving the poor and underserved. As an assistant superintendent of the 21 high schools in the Archdiocese of Cincinnati, we had been studying new models of education for secondary schools. And I had decided that for our fall conference, we would go to Chicago to visit the first Cristo Rey High School. On the bus on the way home, all the principals agreed that we needed a Cristo Rey school in Cincinnati. Adults without a high school diploma ranged from 49 to 62% in our poor neighborhoods. There definitely was a need. Since the students work in a corporate job 1 day a week, we had to have the support of the business community that they would hire 14-year-olds. All agreed education is the way out of poverty. Last year we graduated our first class and all were accepted to the college of their choice. So onward we move, hazard yet forward.
Hi, I'm Sister Marcel from DePaul Cristo Rey High School. I've been here for 2 years working in the admissions office and I really, really love it. I belong to the Sisters of Charity of Cincinnati. I have to admit that when I first heard that we were considering opening a high school, I was among those who were hesitant because I was looking at our age and depleting numbers. But the more I prayed about it, I realized we dared to risk a caring response. And we've always looked for the gaps in service, and this is certainly a big one. In my prayer, I reflected on how Elizabeth Ann Seton started a school. She took a risk, and she met the needs of the poor. So why shouldn't we now? Our students are just amazing. They come from very terrible conditions, many of them. And this is for them their safe place, their caring place, the clean place, and the challenging place. They are rising to the occasion.
I am from the country of Tanzania in East Africa. I grew up on a farm and there was a shepherd. My parents were born and raised in the Republic of Congo. My grandparents were born and raised in Burundi. Wars on those countries forced our family to live in a refugee camp. We came to the United States when I was 10 years old and didn't speak any English.
I have faced adversity at every step of my life and never lost my optimism. I had a mom who was and still is a drug addict. My father and stepmom have taken care of me my whole life, raising me alongside 6 other siblings, which has given me a very chaotic upbringing.
I was born in Fayetteville, North Carolina, to Mexican parents. My parents came to the United States looking for a better future and better life. Once, my parents didn't have enough money to pay the light bill. In the middle of December, the last $5 my parents had was used to buy firewood for light and heat. We didn't have Christmas. The best opportunity for me is going to college. My future depends on college success. I am the first one in my family to go to college, and I want to be the inspiration and role model for my younger family members.
When I look at how hard my life was back in Tanzania, it motivates me and makes me want to work hard in school and do well. I want to make my parents proud of me for going to college and becoming successful.
When I was in middle school telling people that I wanted to become a doctor, they would just look at me like I'm crazy. They didn't believe that I could do it. But now I'm so close and my dreams are coming true, and I'm proving to everybody that I can be anything that I want.
All I ever dream about is going to college. I dream about a better future and a better life for my parents and siblings. I have come a long way. I can't and won't stop. I'm so close that I can feel my dreams coming true.